Hi, it's Kay of Kay's Creative Home. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making a wreath, and I've put together my pipe cleaners on my wreath frame, and I have a video about that. If you'd like to see it, I'll link it in the description box below. And I just shared the ribbon tails I made, and you'll see those again later. And I'm going to be using the poof method, starting with the inside ring. And this isn't mesh, this is burlap I have. And the color just looks so good against the ribbons and the carrots that I decided to give it a try. I've never worked with burlap and a poof method, but I wanted to see if it would work. So I started by zip tying the edge down to the frame, and I decided to make 9-inch poofs because they seem big enough to poof, but not so big that it would end up going flat. And I'm just measuring out that 9 inches, poofing it out, and attaching it at each of the pipe cleaners. So I'm going to work my way around here, and I'll let you know that when I got to the end of the inner ring, this burlap is so thick, I decided not to try to move it from the top ring to the bottom ring. I actually ended it. I cut it and zip tied it to the frame, and then I moved on to the bottom ring by starting again with a zip tie and moving forward. Okay, so let me get this inner ring done and I'll be right back. And so now the inner ring is completed, and I'm taking my scissors and carefully cutting through this burlap, and it is super thick, as I was saying, so it's taking a minute. And then I'm going to zip tie that end down. So if you haven't been to my channel before, I want to welcome you and thank you for coming. And if you're enjoying the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And if you'd like to become a member and be notified when new videos are released, don't forget to hit that button and ring the bell so that those notifications will go out to you. So I got the zip tie going around here, and I'm going to tighten it up using the zip tie gun. And remember, I shared with you my last video that you pull on that zip tie gun halfway to get it tightened, and then you pull the trigger all the way back when you're ready to cut your zip tie. So take a second to fluff these out, and then I'm going to go ahead and work on the outer ring. So now that the inner ring is done, I'm going to start on the outer ring, and doing the same method. I am gathering the end of the burlap, and I think you can see how I just pointed out that I took the outer edges. As I was gathering it, I took the first part of it, tucked it under, I gathered, and then took that last side and tucked it under, and that helps give me a nice rounded poof. So I'm putting my zip tie in here, and I'm going to attach it to the zip tie to get it connected to the frame. And the reason I'm using the zip tie is so that when I go completely around, I don't end up with this burlap in a pipe cleaner twice, because it's just so thick. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to use the same method. I'm going to go out 9 inches, gather my burlap. I keep wanting to say mesh. I'm so used to working with mesh. Gather my burlap, and then go take that to the next zip tie. The next pipe cleaner, and connect it to my frame. And I'm going to work my way around, and I'll be right back. So I have gathered, and I'm adding in the last piece of the burlap into my last pipe cleaner here. Got it in nice and tight. You have to twist this tight to hold it, because like again I say it's thick. And then I'm gonna fluff as usual, and then I'm gathering that end there, that raw edge, taking a zip tie and connecting it to the wreath frame so that that end won't be flopping around and it won't unravel. Okay, got that done. We're going to fluff again a little bit more, and then we'll be ready to move to the next step. So for the tails I want to connect to this wreath, I have taken my ribbon, 2.5-inch ribbon and 1.5-inch ribbon, and cut it at a diagonal on the end to make fishtails. The ribbon is cut at 14 inches, and here are the 4 ribbons I'll be using. So all I'm going to do is gather it in the center of the ribbon, and then I think I start on the inner edge. Let's see where I start. So yes, in the inner circle, I'm going to twist it in, connecting it right at the center. And then I decided I wanted to add some carrots in. At first I was thinking I would add 1 large carrot to this wreath, and then I decided I like the little ones. I think I'm going to put them all the way around, and I was trying to see if I could still work with that large one, but finally decided it wasn't going to work. So I put the carrot in so that the bottom of the carrot was pointing toward the center of the wreath, and took my pipe cleaner and twisted it right below the little stalk at the top of the carrot. I guess you call that a stalk, or the greenery at the top of the carrot. It's a nice little indentation there. The first one I put on without glue, and then I went back and put them all on with some glue before I put that twisted that pipe cleaner together. So to speed things up, I know I've shared with you before, I like to get a momentum going. I decided to go ahead and just put on all of the ribbons first, and then come back and do the carrots. So I think these carrots came from Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure, but you can find these small carrots pretty much in any craft store. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, even Dollar Tree, I think carries some for the spring season. So if you are, again, new to my channel, when I put on my tails, I alternate them. So first you'll see me grab one with the carrot ribbon with the green ribbon, and then the next time you'll see me grab that neutral ribbon with the orange ribbon, and I just go back and forth till I've completed making my way around the wreath. And this helps to add a lot of color and versatility to your wreath. Keeps the eye moving when someone is looking at the wreath as they kind of follow the design around in that circular format. Okay, if you have any questions about these tails or what I'm doing, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So once I finish this, again, we'll be moving on to the carrots, which is right now. So I decided to stand up because I was testing this one and it was sliding a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I better go ahead and add some glue. So I got my glue gun heated up while I was getting the ribbons on, or the ribbon tails. And so now I'm going to add a little bit of glue, like I said, right at the base of that greenery at the top, right at the very top of the carrot itself, and that little indenture there. And then I'm going to tie twist my pipe cleaner around really tight. And you have to be careful with this because, yeah, that glue is hot, and as you're trying to tuck that pipe cleaner around, yeah, it got me a couple times. So what I kind of learned to do eventually was to put a little bit of glue on there, and then put that glue down so that it's against the base of that pipe cleaner. And that way when I'm twisting it on the top, I'm not actually touching the glue. And by the time I go to tuck that last end under, the last end of the pipe cleaner under, the glue has cooled down a little bit, so it's not burning me. So you'll notice as I do the next one, I am again adding glue, putting it in so that that glue is facing down, tightening my pipe cleaner right around there, and then I'll tuck that in under, and then I will make sure the carrot is kind of facing the way I want it to face, and then I fluff out my ribbons, and even the burlap base if I need to fluff that up a little bit. So that's the steps I'm taking as I work my way around the inner wreath. So I've completed the inner circle, and now I'm about to work on the outer edge of my wreath, doing the same method, adding some glue right there at the top part of the carrot, making sure that glue is face down into the wreath or onto the pipe cleaner. Then I'm twisting the pipe cleaner and tucking the edge under. And in this case though, the carrot is pointed out. The bottom of the carrot is pointed out toward me. And in a minute I'll spin this wreath around so you can see that. And once I put this on the outer edge, I realized the top greenery on the carrot was just much too long. So I began trimming that, and I'll try to show a close-up later of how I do that when I get back to the top, because you can't just cut straight across. It doesn't look real. You know, nature doesn't just give you straight greenery. So what I do is kind of cut into the greenery at an angle, and I change my angle as I'm cutting, and then I make sure I cut it at different lengths so it looks more natural. Alright, so I'm about to spin this around in a second so you can see it. And this is how they look on the outer edge. And that way, as it goes around the wreath, they will kind of look really cute. As the wreath is against the door, it'll kind of make them lay flat and kind of spread out against your door. I think it's going to be nice. Alright, so let me hurry on. Gotta add quite a few carrots, and you see there for me cutting, I'm kind of cutting quickly there, but changing the angle of my scissors and moving back and forth as I trim the tops off these carrots. So I'm going to finish working my way around this outer edge, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got all of my carrots on the wreath, and now I'm just letting you see here up close how I'm cutting the tops off of the carrots so that they're a little shorter, but they're not like straight across. I've got some angles, I've got some different lengths, and then you see me even taking my hands and kind of fluffing those, spraying them out a little bit so they look more natural. And this will conclude how I make this portion of the wreath. And let me stand it up in a second and show it to you. And then we're going to go on to make our bow. So here we go. Here's what it's looking like so far. I think it's really cute, especially how those carrots extend off on every side. All right, let's make our bow. So I've placed my zip tie on my bow maker, and I'm going to begin making my bow with I think I did a 12-inch tail, and starting with the 6-inch loops. And you know, to do this, you place the ribbon in your bow maker and you make your 6-inch loop, and then you twist it in the center to come back and make the next loop right there where I put it in, and my hand just twisted it. And then I'm going to move forward with making that next loop. So I am making 4 loops each for this bow, and cutting again my tails at 12 inches. And I am here just shaping it a little bit, bringing my tails down to the bottom. And I'm going to do both of these 2.5-inch ribbons at the 6-inch loops. So, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did 6 inches again because I'm sorry. I don't want to confuse you. I'm sorry. I did come in a little bit for a 5-inch loop, and that's so that the bow can have you'll see how it shapes up a little better if each loop gets a little shorter. You can see the bow, you know, each part of the bow a little better. So again, I measure out my 6 inches to make my loop, bring the ribbon back around there and gather it to put it back through the bow maker, and then extend my tail down to the 12-inch mark so I can cut my ribbon. Now, if this is moving too fast for you, I do have an entire series on how to make a bow, and a, a 4-loop bow like this is included in that series, even larger bows. And what I did in that series is I filmed it with the camera behind me, overlooking my shoulder, so that you can see exactly what I see as I'm making the bow. And I think that may help people. Some people say they have a really hard time making bows, so I think that might be part of the problem, is the direction that you're looking at. So try out that bow series. There's a link in the description box below if you need more help with making your bows. So what I did while I was talking was I took my zip tie and pulled it together tightly in the center of the bow and shaped it. And now I've set it off to the side. I'm going to make 2 more layers of my bow, and I'm going to use that solid green and a solid orange ribbon. It's 1.5 inch, so it's going to sit out further. And you see I just added my zip tie to my board there. I always forget to add it at the beginning, but usually somewhere in the middle making that bow, I'm like, oops, I forgot to add my zip tie. Sometimes it's at the very end, but I get it on there. So again, since the loops before were at 6 and 5, these are coming in even further to I believe 4, and the loops are coming into 4 and 3, I believe, unless I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think 4. And let's see where this one goes, because sometimes I don't even remember myself. So it looks like I did, yeah, 4, maybe like a 3.5, just to make it a little bit shorter. All right, so I'm going to get my 4 loops added on here, and then I'm going to lift it up using my zip tie and make it kind of snug but not super tight. And then I will shape my bow, and once I've done that, I can cut my zip tie. I make it tight as possible and then cut my zip tie. So you see here is where I shape it up a little bit, kind of putting things where I want them to go. And I just kind of alternate where they are so that when you finish your bow, you can see each part of each loop. So again, I lifted it up, got my zip tie snug while I'm shaping everything the way I want it to be. And then I will take my gun, pull it real nice and tight, and cut that zip tie. Now I have 2 bows that I'm going to put together, back to the smaller one on top of the larger one, so it's back to front, I guess. And then I'm going to take another zip tie and bring them both together and get them super secure, super tight. And again, shaping before I pull it all together here, making sure everything is kind of where I want it. And then I'm going to pull that zip tie right there snug and tighten it as best I can with my zip tie gun. So you can see when you make it nice and snug and you cut it nice and tight, it makes the loops pop up, and that's all a part of making your bow look really nice. So I took my a piece of the carrot ribbon, and since it was 2.5 inches, it was very wide, so I folded it in half lengthwise, and then I folded it in half again, and now I'm wrapping that strip around the center of my bow so I can get a very, very nice, neat looking bow with a little bit of that carrot print right in the center. So that's what I'm working on. I put it around, and now I got to kind of pull the shape of the bow around that so that none of the pieces get kind of caught. So I've done that. And then on the back of this one, I'm tying it. I use a different method for the other bows I made for my rabbit wreath. If you want to see that, you can look at that video. But you can see I put a pipe cleaner in there so that I can secure my bow to whatever I want to attach it to. And now I'm tying that center ribbon nice and tight as I can. And then I'm actually going to add a dab of glue to that knot in the back, just so that it will not come out. That's one method of putting that center ribbon in. And again, there's another method I use where I just glue it. And if you want to see that, again, my rabbit wreath that I made, I always want to say wicker. It's not wicker. The grapevine rabbit wreath that I made. You can see how I do that bow. All right, got my bow nice and fluffed up. And we are almost done. So now I've got to trim the tails, and the orange is on the top. So that's going to be kind of the shortest tails. And as the next ones come down behind it, each one will get a little bit longer. At least that's how I'm doing it. Of course, your bow, the length you need is up to you. And I thought I would add this bow to the wreath, but when I tried, it was just, that wreath has a lot going on, and it kind of didn't, for me, it didn't need anything extra. I decided again not to use the super huge carrot even in the center because there was just so much going on. You can see if you add it to the wreath how wonderful it would look. If you like a whole lot and you like something nice and full, you can do that with your bow. For my purposes, when I set this up in my Etsy shop, it's going to be the wreath, and then the bow will be sold. The bow will be added into the package, so you will get the wreath and the bow, and then you can decide if you want to attach the bow to your wreath or if you want to use the bow on like your light post or your lantern or something else to just coordinate the colors near your front door. Okay, so I'm going to finish getting this all together and sharing this wreath with you. And then of course I always share some pictures of what it would look like on a different color door. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll be talking with you again real soon.